Hi everyone. This video is all about the Mendelian laws. So after the experimentation which was being done by Mendel on the Pisum sativum, so Mendel proposed three laws. So namely they are called as law of dominance, law of segregation, or it is also called as law of purity of gametes, and the third one is law of independent assortment. So let us get detail into about the law of dominance. So what actually law of dominance states that? So according to Mendel, he says that when a pair of alleles are brought together in a hybrid, okay, so the dominant allele which is present in a hybrid, so that expresses completely over the recessive allele. So thereby what actually happens is the dominant allele, the character or the trait which is being regulated by the dominant allele, so that is being expressed where the recessive allele fails to express. Why? Because already we have discussed that recessive alleles will only express in homozygous condition, which means two recessive alleles when they are there, then only it is able to express. But it is in case of the heterozygous condition, the dominant allele always expressed by suppressing the recessive allele. So that is the first law which is being given by the Mendel. That is called as law of dominance. Now according to Mendel, he says that each character, okay, is being controlled by a pair of factors, and among the pair of factors, one factor is a dominant one and the other one is a recessive. Okay, now let's discuss in detail how actually the law of dominance can be explained. So this law of dominance can be explained by using a monohybrid cross, where we'll be taking about one single character of the Pisum sativum plant, and thereafter we'll be discussing how the dominant allele will express by suppressing the recessive allele. Now for example, in a monohybrid cross, if we take an example, that is height of a plant, okay, height of the plant, that is Pisum sativum. So here, in case of the height of the plant, so one is the tall and the other one is the dwarf. So height of the plant is a character, and this character has two traits. One is tall, the other one is dwarf. So let's take that homozygous tall is crossed with homozygous dwarf. So this is the parental phenotype what we are taking for the cross. Parental genotype. What is the parental genotype? That is homozygous tall means capital T, capital T. And for the homozygous dwarf, it will be small t, small t. As I said, that recessive alleles will only express in homozygous condition. Right. Now, in the formation of the gamete, okay, so here we have a capital T and a capital T. So this will form one gamete and this will form another gamete. Similarly, it is true with here also. So that is small t and small t. And whenever the condition is homozygous, okay, you can take one allele also, or you can select both the alleles together. Right. Now, when these, for example, these gametes, if we take, acts as a male gametes and these two as a female gametes, then when these male and female gametes, when they get crossed with each other, what we obtain is the F1 generation or first filial generation. Now for example, whenever you cross this with this, okay, so what we get is capital T, small t. Next is again the same, that is capital T, small t. Similarly with the third one, so that is same, and the fourth one, that is again the same. And remember, for the genotypes, it should be like this itself, and always the genotype of the F1 generation, it is generally the hybrid form where there will be presence of one dominant and one recessive allele. And remember that the gametes which are there, so they have to be encircled. So this is very important for the PU board exams or the annual board exams that you have to remember for. That is, always the gametes should be encircled but not the genotype. So what we are obtaining in the first generation is all the plants which are being produced. See, all the plants are tall. And what kind of tall they are? They are heterozygous tall. Because you can see here, homozygous tall is capital T. Whereas here, the dominant allele which is present in a hybrid, so this dominant allele will express by suppressing the recessive allele. So when the recessive allele is unexpressed, so it is the expression of the dominant allele, thereby the phenotype what we obtain is the tall. Phenotypically, the parent and the F1 generation are same, but genotypically they vary. So in the F1 generation, the plants which are produced are 100% tall only. Right? Now this is F1 generation. Thereafter, if the self-hybridization, if it is being done, or if the selfing is being done here, okay, so what we take is capital T, small t, that becomes one parent, okay, and the other one is capital T, small t. So that is what we are calling it as selfing or self-hybridization. Now, here, as it is hybrid, there are presence of two different alleles. So in this case, you need to take both the alleles which should be involved in that of the cross. So capital T and small t. Similarly, capital T and small t. Okay. So these are the F1 gametes. So F1 gametes, capital T, small t, crossed with capital T, small t. Now when we cross these gametes, these are male and these are female gametes, what we obtain will be the F2 generation. So either you can go for the checkerboard or simply you can make the crosses like this also. When the number of gametes are lesser, okay, we can directly derive the genotype of the F2 generation. If the number of the gametes are more, like it may be like 8 or 16, in such cases it's better to have the checkerboard. Right. Now for example, this gamete, okay, fuses with that of this gamete. So what we obtain is capital T. Next is this gamete with this. So this will form capital T, small t, and this again capital T, small t, and the last one, that is small t and small t. So in case of F2 generation, okay, what we obtained is the 4 individuals. Okay, so remember one common thing, that whenever there is a heterozygous condition, okay, you can determine the number of the individuals in the F2 generation. So based on the genotype which is being present in the F1 generation. That is, when the F1 generation is having, for example, it is in heterozygous condition, which means there are presence of, okay, 2 to the power of n, if you consider this as a formula. So how many heterozygous genotypes are there? It is only one here. Okay, so that is capital T, small t. So 2 to the power of 1, because n here represents the number of heterozygous individuals. So how many are there? It is only 1, so it becomes 2. Okay, so you will get 2 gametes, which means 2 into 2. So these 2 gametes into 2 gametes, 2 male gametes fused with 2 female gametes. So totally in the F2 generation, you are able to see 4 individuals are being present. Now, among the 4 individuals, the phenotype of the first individual is homozygous tall, and the phenotype of the next 2 is heterozygous tall, and the last one is the dwarf. So here, if we consider the phenotypic ratio, okay, we are able to see 1 homozygous tall, 2 heterozygous tall. So phenotypically, all the 3 are same. So there is totally 3 tall individuals and 1 dwarf individuals. This is phenotypic ratio. 3 tall and 1 dwarf. So phenotypic ratio of a monohybrid cross is 3:1. Whereas the genotypic ratio you have to see here, capital T, capital T. So it is the only one which is there like this in the among the 4. So this becomes 1. Capital T, small t, capital T, small t, 2. So 2 are there. So that becomes 2. And small t is 1. So in a monohybrid cross, the genotypic ratio is 1:2:1, where 1 is the homozygous tall, 2 are heterozygous tall, and 1 is the homozygous dwarf. So this is the genotypic ratio and phenotypic ratio. So here, according to the law of dominance, as I said, so it is in the F1 generation what we can say that when a hybrid is being present, that is generally in a heterozygous condition, the dominant allele which is present, so this dominant allele expresses completely over the recessive allele. So that is the first one, law of dominance. So this is very, very important for the PU exams as well as for your CET as well as for the NEET. So this is the first law. Now, based on the same monohybrid cross, we can even explain the second law which was being given by the Mendel. So that is law of segregation or purity of gametes. Later, we will discuss why it is called as purity of gametes. But first, we will discuss law of segregation. According to Mendel, he says that when a pair of alleles are present, okay, so these pair of alleles will segregate independently and randomly during the gametogenesis. I repeat, when a pair of alleles are brought together for a hybrid, okay, these alleles will segregate independently and randomly. So that is the law of segregation. So when these alleles will segregate, so that is during formation of the gametes, or you can call it as gametogenesis. Now why law of segregation is called as purity of gametes? Okay, see for example here, as I said already, that whenever the condition is homozygous, you can take 50% of the alleles which can be included in that of the cross, and thereby you will get the F1 generation. Now, the alleles which are being segregated here, so these alleles are said to be pure. Why they are pure? I will tell you. Because you see, when we cross these male and with these female gametes, what we obtain is the F1 generation, where we are able to see hybrid, where it is one dominant allele and the other one is a recessive allele. Now, these dominant and recessive allele, when it is being self-bred, what we are able to see in the F2 generation is the parental characters which were there. See here, in the parents which are there, homozygous tall, that is capital T, small t. So those are reobserved. We are able to see them back into that of the F2 generation. So as these are pure, as this genotype is pure, they are able to yield the same of the parental generation. Understanding? They are able to form the parental generation. If they were not being pure, then the parental generation may not be seen. So that is why it is called as purity of gametes. Okay, so this is the second law, law of segregation or purity of gametes. Now in the F2 generation, you can see that 25%, that is 1/4 of them are homozygous tall and 1/4 are homozygous dwarf. Whereas 2/4, that is 50% of the individuals or genotypes in the F2 generation are the hybrid, which means they are derived from the F1 generation. So 25% are homozygous tall, 50% are the heterozygous tall, and 25% is the homozygous dwarf. So as there is formation of the homozygous dwarf and the homozygous tall individuals in the F2 generation, okay, so these alleles which are there in the F1 generation, so they are said to be the pure. So thereby purity of gametes. So that is law of dominance and law of segregation. By using the same monohybrid cross, we are able to explain both the laws, okay, of the Mendel. So this is one part. The next part is monohybrid test cross. This is another one where we have already that is regarding the definition of the test cross. So test cross basically is a crossing of an F1 generation or F2 generation or an unknown genotype with the homozygous dwarf parent. So that is called as test cross. So why the test cross has to be conducted? Test cross can be conducted to identify the genotype of an unknown individual. Okay, unknown individual. If you want to identify what is the genotype of an unknown individual, so you can go for the test cross. And second one is the genotype of that unknown individual, whether it is in homozygous condition or it is in heterozygous condition. So that can also be identified very easily by conducting test cross. Okay, so I will explain in detail. First I will write out the phenotype and thereafter you can understand the genotypic, why the test cross is being conducted. So for example, if you take the character, for example, color of a flower, color of the flower, if I take as a character, okay, so here there are two traits. One is the red flower and the other one is the white flower. So red flower and white flower, right? So now these are the parental phenotypes. Now when these parental phenotypes, so I will write down their genotype. For example, red is dominant, so I will write both the alleles in capital letters, and white is recessive, so I will write in small letters. So these are the gametes. So this is parental genotype and this is parental phenotype. Okay. Now gametes. So gametes, as I already told you, in case of a monohybrid cross, when the genotype is in homozygous condition, you can select one or you can write the 4 also. So here this is capital R. So capital R, and for here it is small r and small r. So 2 gametes of male and 2 female gametes. Now what we get in the F1 generation? Okay. So crossing this with this and this with this. So this and this, capital R small r, capital R small r. Thereafter is capital R small r, and the last one is capital R small r. Okay. So what we are able to see in the F1 generation is all the flowers which are being produced are red. Okay. All the flowers which are being produced are said to be red. So here we are able to see that we are getting the genotype. But if I, without writing the genotype, okay, if I just make it, without writing the genotype, if I just make it the phenotypic cross, for example, red flower crossed with white flower, in the F1 generation, okay, only red flowers are produced, as I have shown earlier. Okay. Now, when these red flowers are being selfed, okay, when the selfing is being done, selfing, I will write here. So, red flower crossed with red flower, red flower crossed with red flower. So there are 2 possibilities here, that in the F2 generation, so one possibility is all red flowers are produced, all red flowers, and the second one is 50% are red flowers and 50% are white flowers. Okay. So when we cross a red flower with a white flower, F1 generation, what we obtained is all are the red flowers. But on selfing the red flowers, okay, what we obtain in the F2 generation is all, it may produce the red flowers only, or it may produce 50% of red flowers and 50% of white flowers. So, for example here, when do we get, okay, all the red flowers? We don't know the genotype of this red flower, but we are able to see in the F2 generation, in one case we are able to get only red flowers, and in another case we are able to see 50% are red flowers and 50% are white flowers. So what will be the genotype, okay, of the F1 generation? So based on that we are able to get the F2 generation. Now for example, for red flower we know that genotype is capital R, okay, and capital R, small r. So both are representing the red flowers. Whereas for, so this represents red flower, and small r represents white flower. Now let us assume we don't know the genotype of F1 generation. Based on what we have obtained in the F2 generation, so based on that we can able to detect what is the genotype of the F1 generation. Now for example, if I take, okay, capital R, this is red, and when it is being crossed with the homozygous recessive parent, so that's what is the test cross what we are doing here. So crossing of this F1 generation with that of the homozygous recessive parent, okay, so here it becomes capital RR into small rr. So here the gametes which will be there, so that is capital R and small r. So now what we are able to get is F2 generation, because we have already taken the F1 generation crossed with homozygous recessive parent. So when we see what is there in the F2 generation, see capital R, small r, thereafter is capital R, small r, and the last one is the same, that is capital R, small r. Which means all the flowers which are being produced here are red. So in the F2 generation, if all the flowers which are there, if they are red, then the genotype of F1 generation will be capital R and capital R. Okay. By chance, if we get 50% of red flowers and 50% of white, how it is possible? Then what will be the genotype of F1 generation? So you know that here I have taken homozygous, okay, condition. So what it has yielded is all are red flowers only. Now in the capital R, small r into small r. So this represents the red flower and this represents the white flower. Now the gametes, if I take here capital R, small r and small r, okay. So now what you obtain here is again the F2 generation. So when we cross this and this, you are getting capital R, small r. Next, capital R, small r. The third one, small r, and the last one, small r. So what we can see here is, okay, the 50% of the flowers are red and 50% of the flowers are white. Okay, so 50% are red and 50% are white. So here, if the F2 generation has 50% of red flowers and 50% of white flowers, then the F1 genotype will be capital R, small r. If in the F2 generation we get all the red flowers, then the genotype of F1 generation will be capital R. So based on the F2 generation results, we are able to identify the genotype of the F1 generation. So that is by crossing this F1 generation with a homozygous recessive parent. Okay, so this is about the monohybrid test cross, and here you can see the phenotypic and genotypic ratios. So here in the F2 generation, when we have taken the F1 generation crossed with the homozygous recessive parent. Okay, in the first one, all are the red flowers itself, whereas in the F2 generation, here you can see here that 50% are the red flowers and 50% are the white flowers. So phenotypically, it becomes 1:1. 50:50 is nothing but 1:1. So 50:50 or 1:1. Phenotypic ratio and genotypic ratio will be the same. Okay. So capital R, small r, capital R, small r. So these together forms 1 and small r together forms 1. So phenotypic and genotypic ratio in a monohybrid test cross is 1:1. So this is the video about the monohybrid cross, where this is being necessary to explain law of dominance as well as law of segregation, and a monohybrid test cross that is being conducted to identify the genotype of an unknown individual. So regarding law of independent assortment, we'll have another video. Thank you.